across Texas. The issue is...
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin.
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Greg Krugen in Houston, and this is Texas. The issue is...
Texas and the Biden administration remain locked in a bitter fight over how to handle the southern border crisis. There's currently a courtroom showdown here in Austin over Governor Abbott's floating border barrier. And recently, along the Rio Grande, there have been a series of political photo ops by Republicans and by Democrats. A lot of the images coming from this hot zone of contention have been posted by DPS Lieutenant Chris Olivarez. We talked to him about what he's seen and about some of the claims being made about those controversial buoys in the water.
Most recently, we've been encountering anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 daily encounters a day across the southwest border.
What's been the newest curveball that you've seen that has surprised you? Has it been the armed gunmen that are showing up now?
Armed gunmen has been something that, starting to become more common. Even armor-piercing rounds. Just most recently, we actually encountered 2 gunmen working with Border Patrol and the Texas Game Wardens, and they were actually in possession of a M4 rifle, which is a military-grade rifle, and also an AK-47, and they had armor-piercing rounds that can penetrate our bulletproof vests.
DPS recently posted showing migrants who were stopped during the tropical depression storm that just came on. So an example that human smuggling is a 24/7 operation, right?
That was very uncommon to see a large group of 100 plus come across the border during the tropical depression. The winds at that time were 20 plus. And of course, criminal smugglers just go to show you how desperate they are to make their profit to get people across the river.
The number of encounters up, but not as high as in the past. How should people view these numbers?
So can't be deceived by the numbers, because we still have a serious border situation with the fact that we have so many people that are still crossing between the ports of entry.
The border buoy barrier system is making news recently in regards to the court hearings, but in regards to the system itself, in your opinion, is it working? I've seen the images of the people being diverted. That's what it's all about, is trying to divert them into an area where they can be apprehended. So in your opinion, is it working?
Yes, the marine barrier has been proven to be effective ever since it's been placed.
It's not big. I mean, when you're talking about it, about this large river, really, is it working?
It is, and the reason why I say is because that specific area where the buoy is placed right now, that's where we see large groups of people that were crossing by the hundreds, even thousands at the time. Now that the marine barrier has been put in place at that area in Eagle Pass, those crossings have been diverted to other areas, which has now reduced the number of people that are coming across to a much smaller group.
Congressman Joaquin Castro came down, looked at the border buoys, made note of a device that is in between the buoys, called it a chainsaw type device. What's your reaction to that comment?
But that actual, saw, this alleged saw blade that they're alleging, it's not a saw blade. It's actually a radial passive device. This is an anti-step device. It's not sharpened. It's not meant to puncture the skin. Doesn't cause any harm. So again, another allegation that's completely false. But of course, we back it up with evidence that we have. And of course, the only way you're going to know that is seeing it firsthand, seeing how it operates, looking at the device, and actually speaking to officials that actually oversee the project, which would be DPS.
Earlier in the month, DPS posted images, you posted images of a huge surge at one of the international bridges. Is there any concern that another surge is on the way?
It's causing some frustration. I've spoken to some of the migrants. They tell me they're waiting anywhere from 3 to 5 months to even get an appointment. So that's why they're continuing to cross between the ports of entry. They don't want to wait anymore. Until we put some policies in place for consequences to prevent these illegal crossings, we're going to continue seeing this influx of people crossing the river.
The governor hosted a delegation of other governors from across the country recently. What was the reaction that you saw from that visit, from those individuals?
And I think it was very beneficial that they got to see firsthand what we're having to deal with in the state of Texas, and also how every state is a border state.
What's your message to governors who are from the Democratic Party that haven't come down and are complaining about the migrants that are being bussed up into their states and their cities? What's your message to them?
Well, I've always said that you have to visit the border. You have to see it firsthand. Talk to law enforcement. Talk to those individuals that are at the front lines every single day, but also spend a good amount of time at the border. You can't just pass through, do a photo op, and then leave.
Yeah, seeing is believing, but you've got to stay to really check it out. Now, before we take a break from this conversation, let's get a parting word about this border battle. Stephen, what's your word?
My one word, spectacle.
Greg, what's your word?
My word is intractable.
That's a big word. My word for all that is, oh boy. And with that, the Fox Texas Trio will be right back.